Hear me?
I can hear you sometimes.
Is it just me? I think it's just me and you right now, right?
I don't know.
Can I share if we split? And can I share my screen still when you're sharing your screen?
When we're in breakout rooms?
Correct.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But I won't be able to record.
That's right.
Unless I do, unless I do the other thing. What's it called?
Screencastify or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can use that, but it doesn't record like what other people say, I think. You could also just do a separate Zoom line if you want. I said you could also do a separate Zoom line. The way
oh Lord. Just too much.
Oh, I was like, oh no, can you not hear me? Hi everyone.
No, I can hear you.
Hey Maria.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey Zuleika, how are you?
I'm good. How are you all doing?
Pretty good.
Happy it's Friday.
I know.
Friday.
This week has felt long.
Oh.
It has. It really has. And yet not enough time. Because I'm still like cramming to get things done.
I'm eating a massive burrito, so I'm gonna take myself off Zoom for a little bit.
Enjoy.
I would kind of like to watch you eat the burrito, but I understand.
Hi, Rachel and Rachel.
Hi.
I guess we'll wait a little longer for folks. Hey, Laura, to join. And we can start. Oops. Good Lord, what is happening? If we wanted to start sharing the icebreakers, Andrea and I thought about all these different questions we could ask that like tied to the content and all this stuff. And then we're like, let's just do something fun. Like, what are people planning on doing with their week off that's coming up in a few weeks for the holidays?
I can start because I need accountability buddies.
Okay.
I'm planning, and I will, dang it, paint my house. So we have, my house is like a little old lady rectangle house. That's what I call it. It's like very logically made. It's a very Chicago bungalow house. It's like one rectangle, and like each of the rooms is a little square and inside the rectangle. So the point I want to do is the ceiling and all the main areas. So like the hallway, the living room, dining room, kitchen, which are like all just one. And then also all of those walls, because they did a very terrible job, and I painted for 7 summers as my like job in middle school, high school, and college, and it's just, I can't take it anymore. I can't take how bad the splotches are on the ceiling, and I hate painting ceilings, and so that's why I need you all to hold me accountable, maybe cheer me on from like December 21st through January 3rd. I could use some encouragement to make it happen.
Got it.
And podcasts or music, send me your favorite artist, whatever.
Is there a team of folks helping you, or is it just you and your
Nah, man, it's me.
Oh.
That sounds ambitious but doable. So, Z, are you having
sound like a break?
No, it doesn't.
No, but it sounds like sanity. Like I'm gonna have a clean lines afterward and not light brown walls. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Zora!
Yay! Are y'all having a big shindig for her, or no?
No, she's getting that second child treatment. We're like, should we even do anything? I mean, we're gonna do something.
You have to do something. Like
she's not getting that
and
first
some
child.
pictures. Yeah. That's all you need. She has no idea what's going on. All of that hoopla is for parents.
It
a
is.
1-year-old cares nothing about their birthday.
But the problem is there's proof when she's like 30 years old and she's looking through and looking at at Elisa's beautiful birthday party with all our friends and family. and she has like 6 people.
You take one good picture together with her and the cake. You'll never need to know.
Yeah. I mean, y'all are getting together for, I'm assuming Christmas Eve if you're doing it with your wife's family, right? Just bring the cake out.
Yeah. We have to, that's how important it is that we still have to figure it out.
I see some folks are traveling to see family members. I'm co-hosting a clothes swap / like anything that you want to donate or get rid of your house swap and brunch over the break. So I'm really excited about it. I'm trying to like continue my Marie Kondo like trajectory. And so we'll be doing some of that. I'm really excited about it.
I don't think I'm going to Ohio. I'm going to be there for about 3 or 4 days. Our family does big Christmas Eve, so I'll be there for that. And then we'll fly home Christmas later in the day. I think maybe it's like early morning, late afternoon to be with my husband. He's going to be working that day, so we're going to spend the rest of Christmas with him. So, yes, not Ohio State, unfortunately. But if anyone's interested, this Saturday, the Big Ten Championship versus Wisconsin, we already know who's going to win. But feel free to watch.
Anybody else want to share before we get started? All right. So there's only a handful of us here today, so we can play it by ear a little bit. But I was also anticipating that like this is a crazy time of year. There's a lot going on. The holiday just happened. Like this year, Thanksgiving was so late in the game that it's like literally a couple weeks and then we're off again. So I think folks just have a lot to take care of, and so we'll continue to share the video so folks can catch up. But I'm open to figuring out what we do when we get to the breakout spaces, so that it's not like 2 people in a breakout space, although we could do 2 people in a breakout space. So today we're going to spend some time, excuse me, talking a little bit about the Curriculum Evaluation Committee. I have some updates that I want to share with folks and start getting the word out for that. And then we'll break out into groups, doing a Y1 and a Y2 breakout. The Y1, each breakout room will have like a spring semester overview component to it so that we can ground ourselves in what's coming and how do we best orient ourselves in the learning lab space to support what fellows will be doing the upcoming spring semester. And then each breakout room will have like a differentiated session to follow. For Y1, it's GPA test prep, and for Y2, it's the Z-score. And then we'll come back together and take a quick poll. So we have 4 objectives today. To review an updated version of the curriculum quality checklist. We won't spend a ton of time. I wanted to provide this information for everyone, but it's and leave it open. So if y'all want to take a closer look, you have access to it. It'll stay open and open for feedback for a bit. But really understand around like what we're doing with the Curriculum Evaluation Committee, what is it, and what we hope to accomplish. We'll continue to be able to connect and collaborate with each other. And then for our breakout sessions, we have 2 specific objectives. One is to gain insight in the promising practices for GPA and SAT prep for Y1, and then better understand how Z-scores can help drive program implementation and what you need to do to ensure that we are actually getting Z-scores, as it has a lot to do with like data collection and that sort of thing. So Lindsay will be leading that section for us. So I'll jump in and try to be quick here so we can then talk a little bit about what we need to do for the rest of the time together. But would love to hear if folks, or just like thumbs up, thumbs down, where are folks in terms of like knowledge around the curriculum evaluation committee? Like, do folks feel like generally know what it is, or like, I have no idea what you're talking about? Just so that I can, gauge where I should do. I see some side. Okay, cool. So I'll spend a little bit of time providing some some context, and then I'll show you where all the links are so you all can access it as well. So one of the
Your screen's doing the crazy green thing that happens to Rachel's.
Oh no, how do you stop it? It's not doing it for me.
No, you're good now. I don't know what you did, but it's better.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you. So one of the challenges we've had up until now is really learning more about the curriculum itself. So we've done a ton of learning in like fellow outcomes and how fellows are experiencing our program. And that is part curriculum, but also part like implementation and the teaching element. And so we were trying to figure out like how do we better assess like the actual quality of the curriculum itself, like before it hits teachers' hands. And so in order to do that, we decided that we would launch a committee that's made up of a variety of folks that bring lots of different experiences and perspectives to the group, and that together we would then evaluate the curriculum. And so this would be a process that would take for about half a year. So we launch the recruitment, gather the folks, train folks, and then give them time to review parts of the curriculum and then make a determination as to where we are in terms of quality of the curriculum. And we would use that information to help drive the longer term changes alongside with other learnings that we're hearing from other teams that are talking to fellows, and qualitative and quantitative data that we're gathering as well. So that's sort of the context behind it. It's part of our dashboard as well. So this year it's almost like benchmarking to just sort of see, hey, where are we at this like first level? And then we continue to reiterate on the curriculum. We hope to continue to get better and better through years. So the first link here, the recruitment launch, is the proposal. So you can, I'll click on it so you all can take a look at it. But essentially this outlines like the purpose, the committee membership that we're hoping to get. We are hoping to get some PDs and maybe like a fellow alumni. If there's an alumni that's majoring in education, for example, or something like that that you know of, we'd love to have a fellow or fellow alumni on the committee so that they can share and also gain experience, like being part of something like this. I think could be a pretty unique opportunity for them as well. I've outlined what we anticipate the commitment will be. So probably 4-hour training, maybe a little bit less in end of March, and then some pre-work that goes along with it. And then in Q4, spending 3 hours or so evaluating a section of the curriculum, and then 3 hours or so norming together as a group. And so we're really excited to open this up. We're going to include it in our chowder and communication and start just sending it out to different folks so that you all can take it back to your regions. If you think that there is someone on staff that you know would really be an asset to this committee, please share this information with them. The short survey literally is like 2 questions, and only because it's like in case we get like 35 people who want to be part of it, like we need to have something, but it's not like we're not doing anything past that really. It's just to have something in the event that we do need to make some cuts. But even then we were thinking like, do we have a committee for Y1 and a committee for Y2? Like, we really want to be as inclusive as possible. And if we get a lot of interest, we're open to even thinking through how to make sure that those that are interested can be part of the process. So just know we're trying this out, see how it goes, and hopefully learn a ton from it. The other piece that I wanted to share is that I have been doing some work on the curriculum quality checklist. Some of you are pretty familiar with it because you give us feedback on it quite often. But this also originated from us, again, trying to figure out, like, how do we evaluate our zones? Like, how do we know this is actually culturally relevant curriculum? And so what you see here is like a in draft form of an updated version of the curriculum checklist. Everything in yellow is something that is new. I've done a ton of reviewing of additional rubrics that are based on curriculum assessment, as well as rubrics that focus on culturally relevant curriculum. So trying to incorporate external research and examples as much as possible, and to land somewhere where we think will be really strong. So you'll see here in yellow are the things that I've added based on this review of literature, and would love to get even additional feedback. So this is an open document. If you, as you're reading through some of this, or if you have resources you want to share, anything like that, please feel free to leave me a comment. My next step on this will be to continue to tweak it. As you can see in the bottom, like, I haven't even figured out the exact like rubric and point system and that sort of thing yet, but continue to work on it and connect with Dr. Dixon, who serves as our CRP consultant, an expert in the field, and get her input on it before we finalize it to the checklist that would be used by the committee. Any questions or thoughts on anything I just shared?
Maria, I think I'm curious, like, I mean, my work is curriculum, and so there's a lot of alignment in theory for me supporting this work, and I already do a lot of like feedback and iteration and stuff, so I'm curious, like, for one, I will for sure prioritize PDs and alumni, and I can definitely commit to that. But on the staff side, like, what would delight you about staff involvement in this? Like, what kind of humans or roles are you most looking for in this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we want to prioritize proximity to the work too. So
yeah,
DTSs would be awesome. I mean, they're part of the feedback loop too, but I know some folks originally signed up for the feedback loop, but then can't attend all of it or have to prioritize others. So this is like another opportunity for them to maybe be part of it. And then I would say also, if there are other staff members in different roles, but like they really like curriculum, or, you know, like taught before, or have some expertise that like we could just use a different perspective. So one of the external resources that I used, they encourage like people like from the business world, like everybody, to just like have like super diversity like around the table. And so I think it could be really interesting and fun to have like one person who's like, I don't know, randomly in development, but like, you know, wants to learn more. Part of the training will also be around culturally relevant pedagogy and specifically curriculum. So there will be some training that focuses just broadly on what that is. And then a part of the training will be specifically like checklists and what a curriculum assessment committee does, or evaluation committee does. So it could be interesting to have something like that too.
Great, super helpful.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts? I think the other thing that's been interesting for me as I'm like updating this list, like some stuff I'm like, when I'm looking at some of the languages and indicators, like I'm like, oh man, like this is this is a tough rubric, and I'm excited to see like what we can learn and how do we like get it closer to where we wanted to be. So like it has not yet. I'm gonna put it in the next one. I've just like now gotten a chance to work on it a bit more. Cool. Yeah, so in terms of next steps for me, for my work, I'm gonna continue to like fine tune the checklist, get more feedback from anyone who wants to. If you folks on the phone or on the line want to share this with other staff members and be like, hey, I think you have some interesting feedback, or take a look at this, feel free to do that. I'm going to leave it open for a few weeks, just as I continue to iterate. So any comments that come in, I'll be taking those into consideration. We're going to start recruitment, so definitely pass the word along. We'll put it in Chowder. I'll probably send out individual emails to folks that I think would be awesome, but feel free to also spread the word, please. And then post that as we're recruiting. I'll start developing the training that we'll have in the last week of March to get this committee up and running. So great question. We do have funds. Originally, we just had thought about PDs. And so then like I got feedback and they're like, alumni would be awesome, right? So we have some funds depending on how, originally our thought was it would be $500 for their participation. And that's counting for two. So we have basically have $1,000 for 2 PDs to be part of the process. So if we get more than that, like we need to like figure out budgeting a little bit, but we do want to compensate folks for their time. And that makes me think we need to include that somewhere so that when you all are sharing this information, you can just copy and paste it or something. So I'll add it somewhere on the proposal or on the email or something. Yeah. Cool. I'm really excited to learn. I think the more info we get or that we can collect, especially from folks that are like direct executors or as proximate to the work as possible, as we start to ramp up on the national side of like what changes do we want to make, the better our next iteration will be. So I'm really excited to have this be part of our work this year. Okay, so time for breakout rooms. I feel like most people are for Z-score stuff. Zuleika, you were doing Y1. Are you the only Y1 person?
Hey, you all. This is Rohini. I just joined, so I'm Y1 too.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So we could have a small Y1 team. Is that cool, Rachel? Yeah. Okay. Let me split you all up into groups. How do I do? Oh. Yeah, why is this not? It's not giving me the option to split you up.
You may not be signed in as the host. Oh, never mind.
I am, right?
I mean, if you're recording. And yes, usually.
You have like,
do you have the?
yeah, you have the polls. Do you have that showing on your screen or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, let's see, breakout rooms.
Oh, can you break us up out then?
It looks like it. Hold on.
You might have been logged in first until it like gave that to you.
I don't see anyone else's. How do you see people's names? Oh, I see. Ah. All right.
Rachel.
Okay. So Y2 is
I would say
Alex.
make a break. Yeah. Yeah.
Lindsay
Probably
is the
easier to
Z-score.
put with you all because it's only like 3 of you all. 4 of you.
Oh,
But
I see what you're saying here. So me.
sorry, y'all, for the technical.
How do I put myself in there? I don't see my own name.
Because you can be able to, don't worry about yourself. You'll be able to join.
Okay.
It'll make sense.
So just put Rachel, Rohini, and Zuleika, and then everyone else will automatically go to the other?
Dusty wants to be in Y1. I think.
Okay, sorry,
Yes.
Dusty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put some respect on Y1's name, y'all.
Okay, and then okay, I think I did that correctly. If not, I think there's an option for you to message me or something. All right,
Okay.
good luck.
Okay, okay, all right.
Are you in now?
Okay.
Laura's a genius. She said,
Yeah, I was
"In the
like,
breakout room," and we're like, "Oh."
yeah, I was like, so I left. I thought I was getting everybody to leave, but it was just me. I was like, okay, I am going to launch the survey for the Z-score or poll. If you all would just fill that out. It's just a few questions.
Do you want me to take it?
No. But I will.
I thought it was a very good use of my time.
Oh, I can't take it. Okay. Okay. Seems like that's all in. Yay. And from Zantuayo's messages, it sounds like they're having really heated discussions about GPA and test scores. I don't know what's happening, but he said that they were going to try to come back at 320. But I also, the only thing we were going to do together was take another another little poll. It's 3 questions. So I'm happy to launch it for this group, and then you all can head out early if you want. Because I don't think we need to wait. So this is just another 3 questions or 2 questions maybe, and it's just generally about the, yeah, we can all debate it. Yes. I do want to know what they were talking about. I'm like, well, what is the heated discussion about? So
I think the host's breakout room gets recorded, right? When there's breakout rooms, and if Zantuayo was the host, maybe there's a recording that you can listen to.
That is true. Except now we're recording again, because I don't know, does it stay with the main room though?
Oh, I don't know. Rachel might know. Rachel is
You're really
my go-to reference.
on my. Zoom, I think, has things that are just unknown. There's just.
You're the Zoom master.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually, when I do the breakout rooms, I'll stay in the main room and break other people out as the host, and so I know that it's definitely recording then. But Zantuayo did 2, there were 2 actual breakouts, so I have no idea if any of the things we talked about were recorded this time. So it's okay though. It's fine. You all are more than welcome to hop off. Thank you all for coming. It was great to see your faces and hear from you all. Have a lovely weekend.
Thanks, friends. I look forward to 2020 Learning Labs.
Yes.
It's super high flying cars.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Lindsay. Bye.
And so now we're just going to look at me and wait for the other team to come. For those of you watching this video and you've made it this far, Congratulations. I feel like I'm on a reality TV show right now. I don't really know what to do. Oh, I guess I could stop recording. Let's do that.
If y'all want to move to test prep, it's like really up to you how you want to spend the next minute, like a couple of minutes, because y'all are like the ones that are need it the most. So you can make the decision around like if you want to. But here's another, just for context, here's another test prep resource from Chicago. One of the things that I've been thinking about, to go back to your question around GPA days and test preps, like I think if you have block scheduling, potentially bucketing, or like part 1 is GPA day and then part 2 is test prep. And so thinking strategically about actually how might you do it back to back. If you're thinking about like, oh, it's gonna be really awkward if I just did this lesson and then now we're just going to switch to GPA in the middle of the time. So I'm wondering like how you also could be strategic about if block scheduling is like a potential challenge.
Yeah, I think, so this is where I lean more towards like PDs making that choice, because I think it's different for every class. I think there are some classes that could do 90 minutes straight of GPA and a test prep. And then there's classes where that would go really, really poorly. And so that's where I'm like, I think I don't know where my brain is at. And this is where I was thinking maybe in January when I come back, I sort of set up like, cause we take the SAT in March, so it's not a lot of time. And so sort of setting up like, okay, here are the like minimum expectations of what you should be doing in terms of GPA and test prep. You need to figure out in your calendar on your schedule where this works best. And I'm here to support if you want a thought partner, but I don't know what that minimum should be. But I think that's where, I don't know, that's where I was curious if folks have heard, hey, like 30 minutes a week is enough, or we really want to make sure you have at least like an hour so that teachers can do one-on-ones, or I'm having a hard time visualizing the structure because I think I haven't seen anything like it. And so I don't know if other folks have created like how they figured it out with teachers, or even like a schedule around it. That would help me sort of at least have some examples that I could share. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for Khan Academy, they've put out a report or study or something that says the 20 hours of Khan is associated with, I want to say 115, 120, something like that. Yeah. Points and games. So I wonder if like we just share that. And I mean, 20 hours is a lot. Like our kids are not going to do that like in class necessarily, but maybe that's like what we share. And then we can sort of say like, hey, like here's this info, right? Like here's the info. Try to figure out what that might mean, or like how students, what can they do in class? What does that mean for like maybe homework or like individual practice or something like that that can, I don't know, be helpful.
I feel like it would be really hard for teachers to be teaching like any particular zone and then spiraling in a day of GPA per week and a day of SAT prep per week. I think that the way I saw it work last year work better than the other ways was when teachers were spiraling in one day of GPA work per week and then ran the SAT piece as like a mini unit. I feel like otherwise things felt like a little too disjointed and like the kids were like sort of all over the place. In an ideal world, like the kids are doing some SAT stuff at night, like at home, but that's just not something that we bet on.
Yeah, I think the boot camp idea is has been effective in Houston as well, where it's like whatever 2 months before or whatever time frame it is, and it's kind of like that's mostly what they're doing in class to get up like to the hours, close to those amount of hours, and really like pump up the like, you know, I think that was also our thoughts in like starting the test prep zone like later. It used to be like from the beginning, like
1 or 2 days a week from the start of the year before in the curriculum. And that just, the kids were like done by like month 3 of having to do this. They were like, this is ridiculous. And so I think the idea of starting later and having like a shortened period, but more like maybe you could build more excitement around it or something, and focus more on that instead of interspersing it, I think we've seen work as well.
And then what about GPA for you all? Where have you seen it be the most effective? Is it like part of a day, they have a study hall and they do like, GPA jump work, they have time to like work for other classes and teachers can conference, like how have you all seen that be the most effective?
I think in my experience, it was teachers who strategically, it was not every week, but it was like, I guess it depends by the marking period. So like if it was a 6-week marking period, like they would basically look and be like, when are grades due? When do you need to have, like, when do we do like that study hall so that you can be like, where am I? What do I need to turn in? Who do I need to talk to about making up this assignment? And then giving them like students a week to kind of do that to get them in before grades were due. So it ended up being like once every month-ish or something like that, but based on like their calendar. Like PDs who were strategic with it, I think had the biggest impact with students actually doing some of that work and seeing an increase in their GPA because like they got the assignments in or made up the test or did whatever they had to do.
I saw it work really well in 2 schools. One teacher had strategically grouped kids based on the kinds of goals that they had set and in whatever classes those were. And like there were kids like who were grouped and she would move around to sort of like support those kids in their like learning and growing in those like small groups. And she's doing that once a week. And then another teacher did use WHOOP and she like defined what a SMART goal is. She modeled what a SMART goal is and is not. Then kids write SMART goals and they go back to that once a week. It's always the same day every week. And then like she literally plays the song, whoop, there it is, like the day that the kids are coming in. And it's like they reset their goals and it's like, it's smartly done though. And part of that is just like they need to constantly look back at the goals that they set, how much work that how much they've worked toward that goal and like what needs to be done to meet that goal.
I think this is helpful in just realizing like, which I guess to no surprise, it's like, I want the formula, right? Like give me the formula. What do I do? What do I tell people to do? And it's just like, it's going to vary and different things are going to work for different people. And it's like, supporting the PD and figuring out what's the thing in the way that's going to work for them. I think I get that. And I'm like, that's more work than having this one size fits all, solution. But yeah, but I really like legit, I've been thinking about this stuff like GPA test prep. Like I've been thinking about this. So this felt just very timely and it's nice to just talk through it with y'all.
So like I do wonder if there's like a one hit. I have like 7,000 topics to cover in PDC, but I did wonder maybe this is a PDC topic where it's like, what are the key dates coming up in your semester? What does that mean for when kids need to do GPA and test prep? They come up with a calendar, they share it with each other, they share ideas with each other. It takes a lot of the onus off of us having to do it one-on-one with each teacher. I don't know, but it could be a way to alleviate some of that.
Yeah, and I think like we elevate the importance of it again by like making this a whole like space in that PDC to be like, yeah, this is important. I maybe didn't iterate it as well at the beginning of the school year and haven't quite gotten the kind of investment and understanding. Because like I'm just now like slowly and continually like deepening my understanding for how much more strategic I need to be with all this to help us like increase in both. So yeah.
Oh, could be a village topic. That's a great idea. We could do it next Friday.
I want to recognize time. Y'all can continue talking forever, which is great. It's a great thing. I know Maria wants us to do this poll. Someone wants to do this poll, not Maria. I just was fucking with you. So Maria, do you want to launch it? And then we'll just close out. And thanks for joining and sharing your resources and thought partnering. It was super helpful for me too, just to remind myself.
Girl, you know it's not me that wants these polls.
I know it's not. It's not even me, to be clear.
Okay, I have to hop off, but thank you so much for letting me join.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Dusty.
Thanks, Dusty.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Well, Maria, you let us know when we're
Oh,
ready.
I think, yeah, we're done. I mean, we're done with the poll, so
Okay.
we can head off into the weekend.
Yeah.
Into
Yeah.
the
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for this
have a good weekend.
awesome Way One group, and talk to you all soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.